I think again the biggest thing that I have a problem with is the perception. They don't execute these planned price increases well. They don't time them well. It's a bad look. I'm not saying they're not warranted, right? I think that the Verizon
When was
network
the My Plan dropped? Like, what was the time frame? Was it last year in the beginning of the year?
It was
It was 2023.
No, it was like a year and a half ago. Okay, yeah,
so like
okay.
early 2023, and then Unlimited Ultimate came out, I think, early last year or late 2023.
Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha.
Yeah.
What's the right time? What's a good time to raise prices?
Well,
I mean, like April, like September. I mean, what?
There's no good time to raise prices because it's wrong. But
No, which company
Stop
is
it. Well, then you better not look, man. You better not ever ask for a raise of work, because if you do, I'm gonna remember this day. You better not ever. If they offer you $15, you better work that $15 hour job until you die.
And you're not allowed to
ever
leave
ask
1
for a
minute
raise,
early.
man.
Do not leave 1 minute early, bro. Let me find out.
Don't cheat on any tests. None.
Well, the other thing too,
because you sound ridiculous.
the thing
You sound ridiculous. I mean, no disrespect, but you sound ridiculous.
Price increases. The thing that you mentioned that I think definitely I could answer it. How do you grow revenue without raising prices? Right. The thing that I have yet to see Verizon do, which I think definitely needs to be done an analysis, is do they need all these expensive leases on their cell sites? Historically speaking, Verizon has the most expensive tower leases out of any carrier. And they could get comparable connectivity because of how much or how many cell site they have dense network. They don't need to be paying all those high rents anymore because they have a cell site that is filled in, and part of their issue with that cell site. So, in my opinion, if I was to run Verizon, the first thing that I would do is I would start investigating how many cell sites I can cut the lease rent and save significant amounts of money that way. Because as we all know, if your costs go down, your net increases, right? So thus your total overhead of operating the network is a lot less.
Yeah, but
Number
those are important assets. Those are performance assets.
I'm not saying to get rid of them. Keep in mind what I said. I said to
just evaluate.
Reduce the lease cost. Right. And by the way, if there is a cell site that's redundant, definitely get rid of it early, because these leases, contracts.
I've been seeing them densify, Moose, so I'm not seeing it that way, bro. I just don't see how that's realistic.
Like, so, for example, go ahead.
To that point, Moose, I don't know for sure, but you may be on to something, because Verizon entered into an agreement with Vertical Bridge in order to bring another alternative to the current model of leasing sites. Right. So it seems like they're already on top of that, and I'm sure it's going to take time before it hits the bottom line.
Right.
But it looks like they're looking into that already.
Right. They need to look at, and by the way, Vertical Bridge is part of certain states, right? So yes, you are right. I'm not disputing that at all.
Definitely a strategic transaction. Yeah, for sure.
That's right. That's what I'm saying. Like, they need to do more of those cost-cutting measures internally. And by the way, the reason why T-Mobile has so much office space is because they did lay off a significant amount of people since 2017.
And still raise prices.
Right. But, AT&T has yet to lay off enough people to the same level as Verizon. Verizon is a much leaner employee company than AT&T.
Well,
T-Mobile was the leanest.
But they weren't frivolous with the M&As like AT&T is. Like, AT&T always keeps every employee that they know they don't need.
Yeah, I still feel like there's a lot of fat. T-Mobile's the only one that, remember, they had to grow from the ground up in a sense, right? So they were at like what, 40,000, 50,000. Now they're at like around 80,000 employees. But Verizon's the next up from there. They're at about 100,000 employees, and AT&T still has like around 140 some thousand employees. And there's still a lot of trimming that they have to do. But I will say this though. The other thing that I would look at is the ways that I'm getting my backhaul, right? Maybe I can get a better deal similar to what T-Mobile got by shopping around which ones will give me the best price for the 10 gig port, right? That's something else that needs to be addressed as well. Maybe certain millimeter wave nodes don't need 10 gig or 5 gig or whatever. Or alternatively, those millimeter wave CRAN could get a different fiber provider and it'll be cheaper and it was the same experience.